What is up, guys and gals? We are live again. Thanks for joining me here on my channel, Steve, and I'll be your host for the next few minutes while we look at some delicious perfumes. Today, a little something different. I'm going to be taking you guys through the complete collection of Odin for men. I guess it's technically not just for men, but I'm looking at it as a guy, primarily as a man's collection, but I guess they probably are mostly all unisex, in fact. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, but more on that later. They start from 00, kind of like James Bond's destination, like 007, and they go up, I think, through either 11 or 12, and then that completes the sort of black collection, if you will. I know they have at least 2 white bottles, maybe 3, just solid, beautiful, like porcelain style white, subway tile white. I don't own those white ones yet. I may or may not get my nose on those. We'll see. And I only have 1 more bottle to complete my entire collection of the black bottles. 2 of them, FYI, are getting really, really hard to source. So hard, in fact, that I unfortunately had to buy 1 bottle sans the box. The box was no longer available anywhere, and I think one guy maybe on eBay had one available out of like Italy or somewhere, and he wanted like $400 or $500 for that single bottle. So I was like, not going to happen. So I do know that the one extent bottle that I don't have, I can get that for not too bad a price. But again, that one also won't have the box, to my knowledge, unless if I get real lucky and someone else has sourced that model, that number, that exact perfume by now, then yes, maybe I can get it. But for now, we'll see. But at any rate, the boxes come like so. This is what you will get if you buy one of these guys. It will say Odin. I think, I could be wrong, I think these are made by the same company that makes Men. I don't mean men as in guys. I mean MIN, the perfume company out of Manhattan. I think these are connected. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're somehow connected. I could be wrong, but I think that they are. It says, yeah, distributed foundry in New York City, different latitudes, Paris, France, made in the USA. Anyways, this one is 00 Ariel. I don't know if the camera can read that little tiny print. I kind of doubt it. Come on, focus, cameraman, focus. Oh, well, not going to happen. Anyways, it says, yeah, so I can avoid Fragrantica for now, or we'll compare in a second. It has cassis berries, coriander, black pepper, rose absolute, jasmine, sambac, muguet, agarwood or oud, sandalwood, patchouli, and labdanum. So yes, guys, this is going to be much, much more appropriate in the fall and in the winter. But I do think it's a really lush, very sensual perfume. It's a little bit thick, a little bit heady. And although I'm something of a slight rose phobe, the rose in here doesn't overwhelm the perfume. I think it adds a sort of a thick, sensual element to it. So that's not at all a put off here. I just don't like it when rose becomes so dominant that it's like I feel I'm wearing a woman's perfume, if that makes any kind of sense. But let's get into what Fragrantica says as far as the notes, and we'll go from there. So, oops. Well, I had my page right. I don't know where that went. There it is. This is, again, Ariel. This dropped back in December of 2015. It's considered dark and sensual unisex, based on woody animalistic notes. Masculine and feminine notes intertwine through the whole composition, creating the perfect balance when blended together. Yeah, so Formula 00 or 00 Ariel opens with chords of black currant, fruit, leaves, and buds, combined with herbal shades of coriander and tilla cherry pepper. Okay, let's see, there's some information I did not read on the actual box. How cool is that? The heart of the composition highlights Rose Absolute, Sambec Jasmine, and Lemonish Floral Lily of the Valley. I did not read that either on the box. On a base of black agar wood, characteristic for warmth and richness of resinous shades. Okay, so that's way cool. We got a bunch of different stuff not listed here. Again, what I got here was that I did not just get there. This muguet, maybe that's that lemonish floral lily or something. And the black currant, I don't remember reading that either. Did I miss that? I mean, the cassis berries. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. A little difference of opinion there. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe Fragrantica just received the overall gist of the note matrix and not all of the actual individual notes. I have no idea. Let's see. So I'll just read out a couple of short little reviews here to give you an idea of what other people think. First off, before I do that, I like this a lot. I don't consider it their best in their entire collection, but it is really, really well done. It's sensual, it's thick, it's resinous, it's unisex, it's got aspects that are feminine, aspects obviously masculine. I do think because of the notes of I think this has patchouli in it. Did I say that it had patchouli? Yeah, because of the patchouli and the agar wood and the black pepper, the coriander. I think those elements skew masculine quite a bit, but also they make it much more appropriate for fall and winter. I do think you could rock this year round. You just have to be not real careful because these don't. We'll get into that in a minute, but I do think you have to use common sense. You don't want to go very heavy with something like this if you intend to rock it in the dead of summer, anywhere where it's hot, or the spring as well. So just keep that in mind. This is what the bottles actually look like. They all look like this, and yes, they are fingerprint magnets. So that's the Odin 00. They remind me a lot of the U.S. company. What's the name of it? They make them in like white or also this color, like linen or wool, cedar, things like that. I forget anyways, hit me up. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think right now. What's the I had one here a couple of weeks ago. I may have moved to the back of one of my other rooms, but I think it's called is it the commodity? These remind me a lot of commodity perfumes that you can get obviously stateside at a variety of places or online, but same exact style, and it's got the pretty good mister. It's not the best I've ever seen, far from the worst. It does the job fine. Anyway, before I get into these reviews, upon first application of rose, you get the cassis berries, the black currant. You got a little patchouli starting to come up already in the mix. And I think that you can detect that agar wood starting to come up in the mix, but it's just, and you do get the rose quite a bit on initial app. But it dies down and it gets more balanced. It gets a little bit more masculine as it wears on. And yeah, it's just a very rich, slightly thick, resinous. You do get those woodsy, spicy, peppery accords and tonalities. A little bit of the fruit, the spice, the pepper. Again, that rose, quite dominant, but not really. Not in an overbearing way, right? But rose is a very powerful note, so you need to be careful how you use it and apply it. You can get these quite cheap. I mean, relative to what they cost new, I think these were like $200 something when they first dropped. They were between, let's say, $175 and $250 a bottle, and you can get these in many cases online as low as about $45 to $65 on online discounters. Not all of them. The rarer ones will command at least $100, if not more. And if you find one or two that are super rare, they may ask you to pay close to full retail. which is a shame, but it is what it is. I think we can all relate when something goes so far out of production, you just can't find it for love nor money. People are going to ask a pretty severe premium because they know what it's worth and they can get it. So just to round out and finish the review, one guy says XVX Matthew XVX. Okay, he says I will agree with the other reviews here that it is not a typical rose and oud combo. It does lean a little feminine because it dries down sweet, powdery, and ambery, rosy, fresh, woody, spicy, then powdery and sweet. I would heavily agree with Matthew. This is definitely not a typical rose and oud combo. Does skew slightly feminine, more so to me in the opening than the dry down, but feel free to disagree. Again, I mainly do agree with his assessment that it's you get the rose, the fresh, the woody, the spicy, and then the powdery and sweet. But by then, I will tell you that powder and sweet and spice, that's in the deep dry down, and it becomes very soft and quite pleasant, almost like a really nice towel freshener. Those dryer sheets that we use or tend to use, most people, when we dry our clothes. Then this guy that goes by the name Black Russian, he's got a big old beard. If that's his real pick, I have no idea. He says this is as far from typical rose oud combo as it could be. First 2 hours, it smells mostly as something that isn't listed in the scent pyramid at all. Lilac. Well, remember, guy, lilac, I think, is listed. Where did we see that up here? Well, the Luminous Floral Lily is listed, which is somewhat quite similar. I guess when you pile on that Teletrae pepper, I could imagine them giving that a very lilac type accord, if you will. But anyways, at any rate, he says lilac, big push of strange lilac with black currant berries, cassis leaves, and occasional jasmine flowers. As perfect for ladies as unacceptable for men. I disagree, Mr. Black Russian. This is not at all unacceptable for men. It just maybe not your cup of tea. Anyways, he goes on to say projection and sillage. First 2 hours is heavy. First hour, maybe even borderline enormous. Yeah, I could see that, especially if you go heavy. And then he goes, at third hour, lilac jasmine disappears completely. I don't know that I agree with that, but again, this is what he is saying, so I'm going to respect that. That's his opinion. And he goes on to say, along with projection sillage and creamy soft oud arrives with hint of rose mile away. At this stage, scent is perfectly unisex. Too bad by fourth hour, it is a skin scent. For mentioned reasons, it is a definitely pass for men, but it could be great for ladies. Well, respectfully, Black Russian, I distinctly disagree, but whatever. I got better than 4 hours out of this. I got much closer to a legitimate 6 to 7. And I will say that I did not even go that heavy. So I think my instinct tells me if you're willing to really go trigger happy, crazy, and just spray away, if you're really that concerned about, getting your full 8 to 10 hours of sillage and projection, I would think about 8 to 12 sprays should have you well covered, at least minimum into the 8th hour. Even if it's only a mild skin scent and bubble or something like that, I think you should be smelling. Someone should smell it on you by then. I would be hard pressed to believe that they wouldn't. But to his point, this isn't one of those uber powerhouses that's going to just power through the 5th hour, the 6th hour. Man, by the 7th hour, people are still commenting, at a 2-foot radius. No, this is not one of those mega atomic nuclear fragrances. It is plenty strong enough for most people under most occasions. Now, this may not obviously be to everyone's liking. For us guys out there, I think it's totally unisex. You may disagree. You may think it's even more masculine than I do. You may think it's extremely feminine. I don't know. Give it a shot. Get your nose on this and see what you think. Hey, Zach85, long time. Thanks for joining in. That's going to do it, guys. Get your nose on this house. Again, this was just to kick off an ongoing review of the entire Black line or Black bottle collection. Again, they are all unisex as far as I know. Some skew masculine, some skew a little bit feminine, and most of them are just right in between just about 50-50 exact. It's a really cool house out of New York City, and well worth getting your nose on and your grubby little paws on. Again, a lot of these bottles can be had for quite cheap at online area discounters and e-tailers, but that's a word you haven't heard in a while. A few of them are just about totally gone, so FYI, do your research. If you need one of those, you're gonna have to pull the trigger, probably without the box. And again, if you're looking for one with the box, you may be asked to pay north of $400. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, guys, signing off. If you like, please subscribe. Click the bell for future updates. Spray often, spray well, live life on your terms, if at all possible. Love you guys. Peace out. Till next time.